Well, all drivers are on track and ready to go. As ever, we will have one lap behind the pace car. And after that lap is complete, the pace car will pull into the pits. And they will go. Anyway, let's start with the grid rundown then. That is number 12, pole position, Josh Levy. Anthony Marriott is alongside him. Gonna need a different view. Then we have the number 133 car of Chris Palmer. He shares the second row of the grid with Paul Nicholson. Up next, that is Chris Hulse and Steve Everson with Josh Levy and James Hurlow alongside him. We then have Dan Slattery in the 24 car. He is the Monster Energy Machine. We then have... Who are you? Ah, that'd be Ricky Worrell, number 22, outside him. Then it is Jamie Nicholson. He's got Jeff Sharp alongside him. And... Will Thomas. Okay, that wasn't quite as painful as it could have been. Obviously could have been slicker. But, just wanted to have a quick look at Steve Everson's. Actually, no. Let's not do that at this point. Let's
green flag.
Wait for that green flag to fly, and it has. They are off now. Josh Morris could be an early contender for this one, leading the way. As I said, decent on the ovals, as is Anthony Marriott, who's just outside him. And Anthony Marriott takes the lead from Josh Morris there. Down the back straight for the first time. Things looking pretty congested in the midfield, as you'd expect at this stage. Just look at that timing tower. A hell of a lot of dark orange timings, which denotes that they are all very close. Not that you really need a timing tower to tell you that. You can see in front of you they are all very close. It's an exceedingly wide track here at Auto Club. Rumour has it, when I jumped in the chat with the guys, it was a very fun race to participate in. It was a fun one to watch as well. It is... When all of the lines work, it does make for excellent viewing, watching them all charging through the corner at the same time. Paul Nicholson in 5th place at the moment, coming in with the fastest lap. You can see there the top 5 currently all AM category members. Now, I didn't mention it, or I haven't mentioned it since the start of the video, but the grid for the second race is decided by, or it is dictated by the reverse championship order. So we obviously had Will Thomas in last place. That's because he is first in the championship, and so on.
A caution, yellow flag.
Oh, there is a caution. That is... Was it Jeff Sharp? No, that's Will Thomas involved, I think. Chris Palmer facing the wrong direction. We will go and have a look at that one in just a second. But it hasn't taken long for the first yellow flag to fly. again, we haven't really had any huge incidents. Here we are, and it is Will Thomas involved, and Chris Palmer looks like, I mean, may have been squeezed up to the top. Hard to say. Have a look and see if there's any way of yeah, there we go. And well, it is hard to say from there. I mean, let's see if there's a better view that we can perhaps see that from. Yeah, I mean, you can't help but feel they were a bit unnecessarily close up at the top. It's as I said not 2 minutes ago, it is a big screen. Big screen? It's a big track. It's a very wide track, so you can't help but feel they shouldn't have been getting involved there. Was Chris Palmer squeezing Will Thomas up to the top too much? Did Will Thomas turn down on him? I couldn't quite work it out. We can have one more look, and let's do it from slow motion. So Chris Palmer is moving up. There's I mean, yeah, I think it's more on Chris Palmer, the 133 car, than Will Thomas, because he is moving up and squeezing Will. Will does move down, and that initiates the contact. But it was only a mere twitch, which is what we're streaming on. Yeah, let me know in the chat if you think I've called it wrong. More than happy to be corrected, but I'm going a little bit more on the 133s side than the 53s for that one. Right. Back to live. And live is where the action is not, because we are behind the pace car at the moment. What we can do, though, is take a little look and see what people have done gain-wise. Oh, no, we can't do that. Or can we do that? Okay, maybe it has done it right. Has it? Excuse the inner ponderings. Okay, I can't see the grid at the moment, which is annoying. Because, well, it makes sense because we're not live. Okay, we're just going to take those positional changes as correct. Andy Marriott obviously up one position from Josh Morris. Steve Everson and Josh Levy both moved up 3 places respectively. Paul Nicholson's lost out a place though. Then we've got Hurlo, Slattery and Worrell all gaining a couple of positions. Chris Hulse has been a bit of a big loser there, dropping down 4 positions. Jeff Sharp is up 2. These are obviously moving around because they have to run side by side. And then we have Chris Palmer. He has dropped down 9 positions. Will Thomas back to where he started for this one. We are now on the back straight before the pace car will peel in. Don't know why we've got Chris Palmer's car just hanging around there, but it does give us an opportunity to take a look and see if he is a contender for Helmet of the Week. Oh, he is. That is a... Well done, Chris Palmer. That is a lovely design. Not sure if you've designed it yourself, but yeah, I'm a big fan of that. There's also a bit of coordinate. Not quite coordinated with your car, but it's not far off. So I don't know. I like it. Right, let's swing on back to the old race screen, and should probably take a look at the leaders as we are not far off of restarting the race this time. Pace car pulls in.
Green flag, green flag.
So Anthony Marriott makes a break for it. Everybody else follows on behind. Everyone keeping their distance on this restart. Oh, and that is Josh Morris making a dive for the lead there. Very decisive looking move. Or it was a very decisive looking move, but couldn't quite get it done. Is taking that inside line though, or rather the early turn in, which puts him right up close with Anthony Marriott. Anthony Marriott, also a bit of a connoisseur of the oval. He, more often than not, gets a good race. We do have somebody dropping off the back there. Is that Chris Palmer? It is Chris Palmer. Something has gone wrong there. Let's take a look. He was down very low there and hard on the brakes. I'm not sure what's happened there to Chris Palmer. But that won't help his cause. You can see there he's back up to speed, but he is a solid 16.5 seconds off the back of the pack. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Oh, right, the Guinness is gone. Now, this battle is raging on between Anthony Marriott and Josh Morris. Josh Morris currently in the lead. Dan Slattery getting involved though. He's been whittling his way up the order and he sends it 3 wide as they come down pit road. No, pit road is the pit lane, isn't it? I don't know. Who knows? But with that one move, Slattery is into the lead. Josh Morris though hanging on the outside line. Oh, he's into the barrier a little bit. That'll cost him a little bit of time. Chris Palmer has now entered the pits. I'm not sure what's going there. No confirmation. It doesn't look like he's retired. And there he is. As the rest go steaming through. There's more. Oh, I'll tell you what, that was very close. With Josh Morris pulling out from behind Slattery. That was a very good looking move. Looks like it was incredibly close. Well, jump on board with his helmet cam to... well, I say we'll jump on board with his helmet cam, but that replay is sadly... well, yeah, that started far too late. Clearly something I need to work on for the next stream. Let's head on back to live. That's Marriott brushing the barriers here. James Hurlow also looking to get involved with things. He's running in 4th place at the moment. Just keeping an eye on this. Very different lines being run. Generally just between 1st and 2nd in the race. Hasn't really mattered who 1st and 2nd are. Hurlow now looking to the inside of Josh Morris. And that front 5 are starting to pull away a little bit. Jamie Nicholson is a second back in 6th place. Then have Will Thomas, who's the better part of 2 seconds off the back of Ricky Worrell in 10th. So he has not been cutting through the field as he would like to be. Jeff Sharp is also down there as well. So some big hitters in this series are quite a long way out of position at the moment. Lovely move there from Dan Slattery to get up the inside of what's his chops? Anthony Marriott. Here he is, and just dives down the inside. Very nicely done, Dan Slattery. Looking down from the blimp here then. And you can see the two different lines being taken by third and fourth. That is the 88 of James Hurlow and the number 12 car of Josh Morris. Chris Palmer has re-emerged from the pits. Can't remember if I've already said that or not, but he's 2 laps down again. Hasn't not had a good evening, has Chris Palmer. And we obviously had that early incident, not 3 minutes in, or maybe just over 3 minutes in to the race, where we had that yellow flag for the incident between Will Thomas and Chris Palmer. But so far, very well behaved since then. It's getting to that point in the evening where it's getting a little bit chilly in this room, so I'm turning to the whiskey to warm me up. And Slattery and Marriott just slowly starting to pull a little bit of a gap to Hurlow and Morris behind them. Oh, and I'll tell you what, it is looking like it's getting a little bit tasty because Chris Hoss has seen this battle and he's like, I want to get involved as well. And there he is. Josh Morris slowly slipping down the order. Obviously started this race in pole position. Now currently residing in 4th place, but battling away with Chris Hoss to keep it. Does potentially suggest that he may have been a little bit harder on his tyres. But give me a second if the microphone goes all rumbly. There we go, that should be a bit better. For me at least, I think it's going to make very little difference to you guys. I was just moving the cable so I don't accidentally bash it. And that really speaks to where we are in this race. We are not, still probably about 6 minutes off of the halfway point. 5 minutes off the halfway point? Yeah, 5 minutes off the halfway point. And everyone's just kind of tucking in line, sitting where they are. The people that really want to be starting to make some moves will be Worrell, Thomas and Sharp. You feel they may well be playing the long game, look after the tyres, and start to carve through the field at a slightly later stage. But at this point, just holding station, Will Thomas still 1.5 seconds off the back of Ricky Worrell. Oh, honestly, that whiskey is so good. Paul Nicholson's in the pit lane. So there's a puff of smoke. Island Maiden there. He is the lead singer of Island Maiden. They are a Isle of Man based cover group. Can you guess who they are covering? No prizes for the winner there. But in for a change he comes. Bold strategy there as well. Generally, you're kind of wanting to hold on for there to be a safety car, because you can usually bet on there being one. He's now coming out the pits. Chris Palmer is all of a sudden one lap down. How's he managed that? I'm not sure how he's managed that. Maybe the timing tower is slightly inaccurate. Now, are there any other intriguing things whilst we're at this juncture in the race where not a huge amount is happening? I say that, they're 3 wide and it's getting narrow. Oh, that was close. Hurlo and Nicholson, I think there was a little bit of contact there. But they managed to get through it all unscathed. That's Anthony Marriott on the inside of them both. He could have been caught up in that. Ricky Worrell now starting to make strides. He's up into 7th. No, he's back down to 8th. Let's go and take a look at that one. There is that one. Yeah, let's just slap in the old top speed column there, just in case you're interested. I'm not really sure what it's telling us there. I'll tell you what it is telling us. Paul Nicholson is running a fair bit slower than everybody else there. Not sure whether that is a setup thing. Oh no, his speed has now jumped up to kind of something that's more representative and in line with the rest of them. So maybe it's a poor lap from Paul Nicholson. That's probably the amount we can get out of the top speed. However, pit stops wise, as I said, mandatory pit stop, and we are getting towards half distance here. You do feel that people are just waiting to see or waiting for that yellow flag to fly, and then they can essentially pit for free. But you can see there, Chris Palmer, he's already pitted twice. Paul Nicholson's pitted once. We saw that happening. Will Thomas has also pitted. That would have been for repairs after his early incident with Chris Palmer. And Jamie Nicholson is also showing as having had a pit stop. I believe he pitted during that early yellow flag. Oh, is that going to go 4 wide? Not quite, but they're all very close together there. Exciting stuff as they come into turn 1. We do actually have a track map which we can bring up in the top right hand corner, and as you can see, it's not a complex layout, but Chris Palmer on his way to going another lap down there. Dan Slattery is chasing him down. Dan Slattery has pulled out a 3.3 second lead on Chris Hulse at the moment. There's a lot of battling going down behind Dan Slattery. But he has scampered off into the distance. And that gap does continue to grow. Ricky Worrell has certainly continued to make his moves. He is now battling away for second place with Jamie Nicholson and Chris Hulse. And we have some pit stops. Just Josh Morris that's gone into the pits. Indeed it is. Josh Morris has gone into the pits. You see there in the top left how long he is stationary for, and he is taking longer than most of them. I say most of them. 15.5 second stop time there for him. Only Chris Palmer's was longer, and Chris Palmer did have some repairs to carry out, though we do have 2 fast repairs in the feature race. And you can just see from the track map, it is getting a bit more spread out. Taking a quick look at off tracks then, and as you can see, only Will and Chris Palmer with any off tracks at the moment. A bit of an irrelevant one in an oval. And we've now got Anthony Marriott in the pits. We also had Will Thomas apparently doing some exploring, and indeed he does. A little bit of side-by-side contact with Steve Everson there. And once again, Will Thomas, he seems to be a magnet for it tonight. So people are now starting to come into their pits under normal racing conditions, and that is not something that we are anticipating. But it is what is currently happening. Oh. A slight peck on the door mirrors there between Ricky Worrell and Jamie Nicholson. Running side by side. Dan Slattery has extended his lead now to nearly 5 seconds. He, at this stage, will be hoping that there will be no more cautions, but these 4 are getting awfully racy at the moment. It is a quartet made up of Jamie Nicholson, Ricky Worrell, Josh Levy and Jeff Sharp, who's also been starting to make his way through the field. And Will Thomas has been doing the same thing. He's just off the back of this pack, will surely be a part of the battle imminently. And once again they're rubbing down the straight. These 2 getting very close. Josh Levy looking to the high line there. This is excellent racing from these 4. And look at that. What a shot. Oh, there's contact between Sharp and Nicholson. They just about hold it together. But that does cost both of them a little bit of time there. Oh, I thought Worrell was going to move up there on Levy. That would not have been ideal. And things starting to get tasty behind them as well. The quartet have become a quintet. Dan Slattery continues to extend his lead. He's now lapped Palmer and is now 5.5 seconds ahead. So he is really lapping at a fair old pace compared to these 5. Well, compared to anyone really. Oh, Will Thomas. Oh no, he's all okay. Something went mental in the timing tower there briefly. Oh, some more contact. It does feel like it's a case of when rather than if things kick off here. They'll get into line briefly. I'm sure that won't last though. Just looking to see then who has pitted and who has not at this stage. Well, it's about half and half. The top four, Slattery, Worrell, Levy and Sharp yet to pit. Everson, Hulse and Hurlo also yet to pit. Everybody else has made their mandatory pit stops. But really, this could play really nicely into the hands of Jamie Nicholson and Will Thomas, because if it goes green flag all the way to the end, and that is a big if, because we do still have just over 15 minutes of this one to go, but if it goes green flag to the end, they are in a very tidy position, and that is potentially what Dan Slattery is trying to mitigate by going off and setting the pace, though the gap has settled a little bit around the 5.5 second mark between Dan Slattery in second place, whoever is residing in that second place at the time. So we now do have all of the big hitters up near the front. They've carved their way through after that reverse grid. We've also had James Hurlo now. He's come into the pits. Representing the Welsh is our James. And there he is coming back out. And that puts him down, not quite in last. Chris Palmer, obviously, still a lap down after his bizarre incident earlier in the race. And, well, that's somebody else. That is Ricky Worrell now into the pits. And Jeff Sharp has broken free of that group. We can see there, we're looking back from Jeff Sharp. Will Thomas and Josh Levy side by side. But everyone is starting to now realise that this may go green flag all the way, which nobody was expecting. And really, as it stands, we don't have a huge amount going on. Well, Jamie Nicholson, so that answers that question. Jamie Nicholson, who had already pitted, is having to pit again. So that doesn't make things quite as interesting as we were hoping for. We've got a mix now of lapped and lead lap cars based on whether you've been in the pits or not. And that is Will Thomas now pulling into the pit lane. Locks up. We also have somebody coming in behind. Who is that? That is also coming into the pit lane. That would be someone. Oh, that would be Steve Everson, and I believe it is Chris Hulse also all in the pits. Let's have a quick look at the old pit lane counter. And it's just Dan Slattery, Jeff Sharp and Josh Levy now that haven't made their pit stops once these three have come out. I say that. I believe that is Josh Levy entering the pits now. So it is just Dan Slattery and Jeff Sharp to go. Be interesting to see how this shakes out. What we really don't want here is a caution, because that'll take all of that interest away. Give a bit of a coverage to our leader. The monster out in front. You can see there from the bottom right, we've got a pit stop strategy stint length graphic there. So, Slattery and Sharp still on those original tyres, 47 laps old. The longer you go, obviously, the fresher tyres you'll have at the end. Will Thomas, you can see why he had to stop again. Two-stop strategy for him. He was never going to make it to the end on that second set of tyres. He pitted on lap 6. Oh, that was Dan Slattery making a little bit of a meal of coming into the pit lane there. And Jeff Sharp behind him. But these guys are going to be in a great position tyres-wise, even if they aren't good for track position, but they could well be. Anthony Marriott still 2 kilometres back, as it usefully says in the top left. Might as well get rid of the old pit stop thing now that everybody has been in the pits. Let's go and find Anthony Marriott. There he is, charging around one of the many corners here at this oval. Let's get rid of the old pit stop strategy box there from the bottom right. And you can see Jeff Sharp coming out. Where is Dan Slattery? Is still in the lead, but Anthony Marriott is rapidly closing him down. Of course, he'll have a lot more speed while Slattery gets up to speed. You can see Slattery there in the distance. Chris Palmer separates them a lap down. But it's worked out well for Dan Slattery. Went in with a 5.5 second lead, comes out of the pit stops with a 1.3 second lead. And Cat, stop doing that, please. Got a cat clawing the hell out of the hell out of a chair. I think water for this next sip. All right, time for me to get comfortable for the final 8 minutes of this one. So you can see there from the timing tower, it is fairly spread out now. We've got Ricky Worrell up Will Thomas's chuff. And that is what is going on here. That is the battle for 4th place overall and 2nd place in class. And then we've got the battle between Sharp, Levy and Hurlo. That is the battle for 6th, 7th and 8th. There they are. Jamie Nicholson is in amongst all of that lot, but Jamie Nicholson is a lap down. Steve Everson, what's going on with him? Where are you, Steve Everson? Why are you dropping off? Big Dicks, something, I can't remember the brand of that, or the name of that legitimate brand, should I say. Josh Morris has done well out of all this. He was dropping back, but he could have well have been preserving tyres. He is now in 3rd and 2nd in class, but Will Thomas looking to ruin that party. Dives to the inside. Chris Palmer trying to make sure he doesn't get in anybody's way, as he is obviously a lap down. Ricky Worrell in close attendant as well. Attendant? Not sure what on earth that was. Paul Nicholson exiting the pit lane as well. I'm not sure what's going on with his strategy. Let's have a look. Well, we're going to have to click onto Paul Nicholson, I think, to... oh no, even if I click onto Paul Nicholson, it won't show me him, because it only shows us the top 8 for pit stop strategy. Ooh, Dan Slattery not messing around. He's looking to extend his lead, and he is doing 4.5 seconds already, and he has just set the fastest lap of the race. He'll also have laps led, so that's 2 bonus points for laps led, 2 bonus points for the fastest lap. And as it stands, he gets 25 points for the lead, so that would be a 29-point haul in this race for him. There's Will Thomas. He's looking to stop that. He's in second place and, of course, leading the championship, so a second place is a very good result for him. It's all about stringing together consistent results to build your challenge. You don't need to be winning every week, but if you're in and around the podium consistently, you will usually be in the right sort of position by the time the final couple of rounds come. Jeff Sharp on fresher tyres. He is definitely going to be one to watch. You can see him up the inside of Josh Morris there. Has much fresher tyres. Anthony Marriott is his next target, very closely followed by Ricky Worrell, and he is just carving his way through the pack at the moment. He's not going to be able to do anything about Dan Slattery because they pitted on the same lap, so they have the same age tyres, and Dan Slattery does really have the pace. However, he is only 1.1 seconds behind Will Thomas. Where did Will Thomas... I'm going to bring up the old pit strategy box again. So Will Thomas, he is also on pretty fresh tyres, only a 3-lap difference there, you can see. So yes, Jeff Sharp does have the fresher tyres. However, they might not be fresh enough, or the delta to Will Thomas might not be fresh enough to really give him a decent chance of catching him up. However, I've been known to be wrong. And I'd say I am wrong, because in all of that time I was waffling about bloody tyre strategy, I can see that Jeff Sharp has already halved the distance to Will Thomas. It could be that Will Thomas is just trying to preserve those tyres a little bit more for a final defence at the end of this race. We're only a few laps from the end, 7 laps to be precise. I'll tell you what, if you'd have told me on lap 4, whilst we were under caution after that lap 3 incident, we'd go for the rest of the race without a caution, I would have been surprised. And I am. Can't believe we've got this far without another caution. And this is the battle for second. Also the battle for second in the pro category between these two. Sharp, given how dominant Will Thomas has been in the early rounds of this season, Sharp will know that he needs to get past him here. Will Thomas overcome a lot of adversity tonight, been involved in seemingly everything, but he is there when it matters. Jeff Sharp right on his bumper, and they go side by side. Looking very close. Indeed they are, on board with Will Thomas here. That is Jeff Sharp down below us. Jeff Sharp makes the move stick though. Does he have the pace to pull that gap out? 5 laps to go at this point. Ricky Worrell making moves. Well, I say Ricky Worrell making moves. We are now on board with Ricky Worrell. Let's cut to an exterior camera. He is battling out with Josh Levy. Josh Levy looks like he may well take his second win of the evening in the AM category. Anthony Marriott, 2 seconds, well, really a bit further than that, 2.2 seconds shy of Josh Levy. And Josh Levy looking for 4th overall with Ricky Worrell just behind him. This is the close battle on track as it stands. So Dan Slattery has very much checked out, over 7 seconds ahead of... Oh, sorry about that. Over 7 seconds ahead of Jeff Sharp. Will Thomas not able to live with Jeff Sharp's pace. He's almost a second back at this point. And it looks like Ricky Worrell can't really live with the pace of Josh Levy. He is falling back consistently at the moment. Drops to over a second now, and he's really seeming to slow up now, is Ricky Worrell. What is going on? We'll jump on board with him, see if we can work it out. Hard to say. Unfortunately, the dashboard doesn't quite update as if you would do in real time. I say in real time, it doesn't give you all of the information that you'd want either. And, well, apparently the lap counter is wrong because Dan Slattery's won. At 63 of 65 laps, Dan Slattery has won the race. Well, that was a damp squib of an end, wasn't it? Like, that... Yeah, that's... Not... Yeah. That's, well... Dan Slattery, congratulations on your win. 6.9 seconds ahead of Jeff Sharp. Let's have a look at those race results then. So yeah, round 6, the feature race at Auto Club Speedway. Dan Slattery wins. It was a pretty dominant win for him. Oh, and there's absolute carnage in the background. You can see there people making use of the fact that they didn't get too many X's throughout that race. Yes, Dan Slattery wins. Jeff Sharp then takes second place with Will Thomas in third place. That was the top 3 for the pro standings as well. Josh Levy, second win of the night for the AM category. He is staking a claim towards robbing Chris Hulse of the title of AM category champion. Still a long way to go in this one though. Ricky Worrell was then in 5th and James Hurlow in 6th. They were in 4th and 5th for the pro category. We then have an absolute plethora of AM drivers. Anthony Marriott was then in 7th with Josh Morris in 8th. They were 2nd and 3rd in class. Chris Hulse was then in 9th with Steve Everson rounding out the top 10 and taking that final overall point. He will, however, get more points because he finished higher up in the AM standings. Paul Nicholson was then in 11th place with Chris Palmer. A night to forget for Chris Palmer. Didn't go well. He did manage to get a position off of Jamie Nicholson though, but no points in the overall. And where did he finish in? That's, I think, 7th place he finished in AM. So, yeah, he's not had a good night there, has our Chris Palmer. And I'm going to say curse the commentator because it was me that said early on that he usually does well in the old... ovals. And then it's Jamie Nicholson in 13th. Can't really remember what happened to Jamie, but he did drop off. But yeah, there we go. Any well, really, there weren't any major moments for us to look back on. We obviously had that early incident between Chris Hulse, no, not Chris Hulse, Chris Palmer and Will Thomas. Yeah, we'll just take a quick look at that now. Let me remove that again, because I've done it again. Interesting. Oh, right, yeah, that's why I'm not actually looking at the people I need to. Oh, it's another really slick look at the replays. Let's try that again. That was the incident between Chris Palmer and Will Thomas. That caused the only yellow flag of the 45-minute feature race.